We're back on TYT Sports. I am Francis, and that is Jason. And making headlines today with the least surprising news is that I kind of have a little bit of Larry King-esque style going on today. Jason has a little bit of Ben Mankiewicz style going on today. And FIFA is just obviously going to be involved in the Panama Papers. So to give a little context about the Panama Papers, right? I did quote, and I'm going to steal my quote and recycle it.
You quoting yourself?
Yes, of course.
It's a great way to kick off the show.
It is the biggest leak since De Michelis in the Manchester Derby. Basically, terabytes of information were leaked revolving around offshore companies that were set up in Panama, most of which were around the company that was called Mossack Fonseca, who specialize in setting up offshore companies. Just to avoid raids and stuff like that. Just really legitimate things. Money fucking laundering. Either way, FIFA, of course, in the long list of those involved, are atop. There is, by the way, there's a bunch, but football's representation in this list is pretty shambolic, which showcases that Sepp Blatter rubbed off a little bit on many different people. So let's get to the quote really quick before we get into it to talk about what is going on here and to explain it to you guys. So according to records, UEFA concluded offshore deals with one of the indicated figures at the heart of an alleged World Cup fraud, despite previously insisting it had no dealings with any of them. So the emergence of the contracts from 2003 to 2006, which were co-signed by Infantino, oh surprise, link UEFA for the first time to one of the companies involved in the huge unfolding scandal that was brought down former FIFA president Sepp Blatter. And it continues. Infantino is a Swiss-Italian former UEFA Secretary General who won the race to succeed the disgraced Blatter in February. The files show that in 2006, when he worked at UEFA, the organization sold the rights for broadcasting its club competitions in South America. Right. We continue to the last. The rights to the Champions League, the UEFA Cup, and the Super Cup were acquired by an Argentinian company called Cross Trading. Cross Trading immediately sold on to broadcaster Teleamazonas for about 3 or 4 times the amount paid for them. The contracts covered the period from 2003 to 2006 and from 2006 to 2009. So again, to finalize, Infantino, of course, the new president who promised a new era, has been brought into questioning. His office were raided as a result of the Panama Papers, and it's basically revolving around his findings and how he was involved with Damiani, who is the lawyer who also is involved with the 3 former FIFA officials who are still under questioning and facing prosecution. The former vice president who's in Argentina and the brother-son combo who dealt with the television rights. I've got a full video on it on Facebook. You can check that out. But Jason, are you fucking surprised?
No, if you can bet on FIFA being corrupt or being found in these 11 million leaked documents. You said terabytes. It's like, I mean, first of all, the idea, a document is a small-sized file, 11 million of them on terabytes. I mean, there's hopefully not one...
One guy.
I think Sepp Blatter should have been the guy who had to read every single one of those documents and take notes. I do love the quote where it does say former FIFA president Sepp Blatter. That finally came to fruition. But also, by the way, one of the things that was left out from the quotes, which is from The Guardian, so thank you to The Guardian, it also signed a Euro 2016 hospitality sales agreement with Traffic Sports Europe, a Brazilian company named Extensively, as part of the U.S. indictment. So all those things from 03, 06, 09, broadcasting rights in Latin American countries, the Champions League, one specific match of that being of FC Barcelona versus Arsenal in 2006, also includes and tainting a little bit of the Euros in 2016. One of the things that I also looked into this story in terms of the Panama Papers is that Mossack Fonseca is actually the 4th largest firm as part of these offshore companies. There's actually 3 larger ones. And I would love to see how entangled FIFA is with those firms, if they are. I'm not going to just... You know what? I take that back. When we find out they are. Because you don't get the benefit of the doubt when you have been corrupt for so many years, and we've done so many stories and follow-ups where it doesn't even, it's like the web gets more tangled. The web gets, it's like the ever-expanding universe. Yeah. It constantly gets bigger, constantly gets stickier.
Yeah. So when we did the clip on my reaction to Gianni Infantino being hired, what do we expect to happen? As I mentioned, we chopped the head off the monster, right? Sepp Blatter is no longer there. But how was he able to operate for so long, consistently take these bribes, have World Cups now in Qatar, where people are consistently dying trying to build stadiums? How was all this feasible? Because it wasn't just one man. It was an environment, a incestuous environment where people had to take bribes to get to the top. So when I talked about this clip, yes, Gianni Infantino might come out and it might be stated that he had no idea that these transactions were going on. But who fucking cares? Because everyone within this hierarchy of FIFA had to be aware at some point of a certain transaction. He signed off on a trade which basically ties him with the officials that are under questioning at the moment in the first FIFA raid. That's all that you need to figure out to realize that no matter how clean someone's hands may be, when they're within this environment, they are going to be aware of certain goings-ons that are not legitimate, and therefore that puts his idea of a new era into question. So people were asking, what do you do? What's the problem? You just took a man from UEFA, who, Platini, by the way, is suspended for 6 years from football because what's going on? Oh, yeah, he is also in the Panama Papers. He is involved in illegitimate findings as well. And he was a man that was vouching that Sepp Blatter be overthrown. He was just as dirty himself. So therefore, you're taking a man from UEFA who was involved in those findings, you put him in the top of FIFA simply because he knows what's went on. And he's hoping that they could just skate under the radar and think, all right, as long as no one else finds us out anymore, we can just continue to go on our own little family of this disgusting way of action, this way of life can continue to thrive.
Look, and you made the point there. First of all, I'm waiting for the meme of Infantino taking off his face for the Platini.
Yeah.
Either Platini or Sepp Blatter being underneath. I'm sure those are circulating. But look, if you're the president of an organization, what goes on under your roof is your responsibility. You can think your hands are washed clean of whatever. Oh, I had no idea. I had no idea Francis was signing over illegal documents and making illegal trades or whatever it might be, selling broadcasting rights or bribing officials. If I'm responsible for Francis, and Francis is doing that and I have no idea, unfortunately, you are guilty by association.
Yeah.
And look, and when they say a new era, what the hell does that even mean? We cannot buy into that until we actually see one. My idea, I don't know how this would even be plausible. I have no answers for it, but the idea I would say is you have to demolish all of FIFA.
Yep.
You have to scrap it, and you have to make a new organization. One of our directors here, Irma, calls it Fifi. Therefore, you already have a new name.
What all that new era is, Jason, it's a lick of paint. That's continuously the reference I'm going to make. It's a lick of paint that's painted over.
Paint from freaking SpongeBob.
Yeah,
where
it's
you
to make
lick it and it comes off.
It's to be like, oh, it's okay, we fixed it. There we go. That's a new job done. But the cracks, the core, the foundations that this company has been built on under Sepp Blatter's dictatorship are all remaining. They're still remaining there. Like this official, Damiani, the Uruguayan lawyer, he is on the ethics committee. He's on the ethics committee, so it has to bypass him. He has to be like, Dad, I don't think that's right, but you know what? 20,000. Ethics are fine.
He's got the most twisted sense
no problem.
He's got the most twisted sense of ethics.
Yeah.
Since your sense of philosophy.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry.
I'm glad the sense of philosophy, not the sense of fashion.
Well, that's very true.